This is a second opinion piece on 2-minute tennis tips, how to consistently crush short forehands. Tip number 3, use the open stance. We have to start out with Coach Ryan's definition. He says open stance is simply the left foot is on the left and the right foot is on the right. I don't know where Coach Ryan got this definition from, mostly because it is still a very controversial stance. And even among the online tennis coaches, you can't find a consensus. As we see Ruusuvuori stalk this ball, Coach Ryan starts to identify that this frame is open stance. Make a note of the hand holding the racket. And again, Coach Ryan says this is open stance. You can see the ball is in the frame now. Under great base, this position is actually called the unit turn. The unit turn is a position where you keep hold of the racket. This is where we see 2-minute tennis veering away from great base. Under great base, the unit turn was important as it allowed you to keep moving while turned. Only when you are feeling like the ball is in line to be hit would you move to a shoulder turn position. This frame shows the racket back. Under great base, we learn this position as the shoulder turn. Even the left foot is in a proper position for closed stance. Swinging off the back foot is one ingredient that makes this open stance, because the closed stance transfers the weight to the front leg. The hips are the most important ingredient that will allow us to determine whether or not this is open stance or partial open stance. One of the first coaches to encourage the open stance was Oscar Wegner. He had been advocating for the open stance at least in the 80s, and also in his ESPN series that aired in the early 90s. If you've watched the movie King Richard, there's a bit where the Williams sisters are watching a tennis coach on TV. Richard Williams, their father, recorded Oscar's program to teach the sisters before they moved to Rick Macy's academy. The open stance that Oscar demonstrates is as simple as greeting someone with a handshake. If you used a closed stance, you will notice that in your shoulder turn, the hips are facing the side. In order to greet someone from across the net, you would awkwardly reach to shake their hand. The last ingredient is the back foot, in this case, the right foot. The open stance encourages loading and unloading off the back foot. When I was trying to learn everything I could about MTM, I mistook Oscar's preference for open stance as an instruction to use open stance in every scenario. I had trouble with this, so I asked him, and he clarified for me that it is not a means to an end, and something special happened. I learned how to apply the closed stance in various situations, and so I can corroborate that the open stance is not to be used in every situation, but it is a preferred stance. Similarly, you don't need to use open stance to crush short forehands. The goal is simple. Keep the ball in play, especially when you have the advantage. Aim with a good margin over the net and add topspin to keep the ball from going too far out. Open stance will allow you to load and unload off the back foot. In conclusion, I disagree with tip number 3 because it does not add to your consistency. There are very specific goals, and Coach Ryan stated very clearly, crush the short forehand consistently.